Boys, let's finish on a bit of a lighter note. We've managed to talk for nearly 2 hours, but we haven't mentioned the fucking podcast yet, so we better. I came on your show right in the early doors, and now you boys are killing it. You're 64, 65 episodes in. Kind of gone from just being you boys. I know you've had like Source, yeah, Cold Source. You've had like bits and pieces. You've had boys on. Just tell me about the journey, mate. Because having been there, I can't explain it. I don't really know what happened. It just happened, and now we're here, and it's 4 years later for you boys. It's it's what 18 months now. You boys been at it?
Yeah, just over a year. Just over a year.
Just over a year.
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah. I mean, it kind of like it's a bit of a how we sort of started in a way. Scott and I been mates for years and years and years, and one night him and I and another friend of ours was like, oh, should we have a WhatsApp group? Get all our mates from like around the country, whatever. Yeah, fuck it, let's have a WhatsApp group. And we during lockdown, it was brilliant. So I invited like one or two mates of mine from across the country. Not everyone knew everyone at the time, but I knew all of them, personally. So I said, look, let's have a big WhatsApp group. We'll see how it goes, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it kind of got a bit crazy quite quickly. And Scott and I were just chatting when I said, oh, we should have a podcast. And ironically, you were kind of part of that. I'll kind of come back to.
Oh, really?
And yeah, kind of.
Sorry, boys.
And that's all right.
I'm sorry, fellas. Yeah.
No, because I wasn't a podcast guy at all. I really wasn't. I
didn't even know what one was when I went on Banners on the Wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard of a podcast.
Some of my best mates from Cardiff had one for years, and I never ever listened to them. I just always had no time. Was always my reason. No time. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so during like lockdown, Watty messaged me saying, "Oh, I've got a new podcast. Blah blah blah. Give it a listen." Like, I don't do podcasts. Anyway, so for the guys I knew well on the team, like Doug Clarkson and Chris Bright and Hudson and stuff were on there. So I thought, I'll give it a listen. I really enjoyed it. I listened to most weeks. I listened to his podcast. You came on at the time, ironically, maybe 18 months ago, whatever it was. And I only knew you by reputation as being some like thug from the NIHL. Do you know what I mean? Just because that's how people in the leagues.
I'll take it.
That's how you're viewed.
I was still a fucking point a game, so everyone can eat.
Yeah, but like but when you're like an elite league snob, it's like you don't really look below. Like that's how it is as a fan in elite league. You don't look at the NHL that often. And you spoke really well. I said like to the boys, like I said, oh, we should have a podcast, because you British stuff. Like whereas Wally's is like great if it's a guy I know or a guy I played in the league.
He's all over the gaff, yeah.
Yeah, if he's speaking to some random like German dude that I've never seen play, I've not got a lot to take from that, if I'm honest, Whereas like you come on, you're bouncing up there, talking about the British one. I thought I'll give you a bit of a listen. I was like, yeah, to be fair, you had some good people on there, some good guests over the years. So not long after I listened to your, some of yours, I said to Scott, should we do a podcast? Just me and him, just on our own. And we put out to the group. There's a big load of us in the group, maybe 20 of us in the group. So we'll take it in turns. We'll have it like a free for all. We'll have 3 of us every week, and we'll take it in turns. Some of the boys are a bit shy. We're quite gobby in real life, but they don't want to put like their voice to what they say like privately or on Twitter, wherever. And then David's, who's just the glue, like Granty's class. So we knew Granty would be good, so David agreed to do it. And then we just kind of said, I'll give it a go, and then we'll take it in turns. And then it became just us 3 doing it most weeks, and then it just kind of got a bit crazy. And like, well, I'll let Scott. I'm rambling already. So I'll let Scott take it.
Smashing it. It's awesome.
It's just good though.
It is. I did one during lockdown, which was purely Blaze. So we just interviewed all the old Blaze players. So I had Neil Martin on.
Yeah. By the way, before we get on to any other Blaze player, Adam Calder's a fucking stud. Neil Martin's the best commentary Blaze player by a country mile.
Yeah,
I played against him. I don't understand how he was that nasty. That just so good.
Yeah, it was. And we messaged Neil because it was lockdown. No one was doing anything, was they? And
getting pissed on Zoom.
Yeah. So it was the third period podcast, and we literally had Chris McNamara, Neil Martin, Sammy Nasruddin, all the players that won stuff with Trevor Koenig, Jody Lehman. They all come on and I just enjoyed it. I
was on the ice when Jody Lehman scored a goal.
What?
Still hurts.
I was there. I was there.
I was fucking there as well.
What? I was 16. You were young then. You were 21, 22?
No, I was. I would have been in Swindon. I was on I can't remember if it was I was on a two-way or whether I was in Basingstoke. No, I would have been in I would have been in Basingstoke. Yeah, it'd be 03, 04.
04. So how old were you then?
16, 17.
16. Oh yeah.
16,
Mad.
17.
Right.
He's making you off there, saying like giving the old guy. He's trying to make out like you're 5 years older than him.
Yeah, I know. I look older than that. Anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, I enjoyed doing it, and then John, me and John just we met through Twitter really, and then we've been friends for years, and we just love hockey and started talking. And I listened back to our first episode about 6 weeks ago, and I was
how's the anxiety for you?
I was like, what is this? Did we record this on dial-up? What was it like? And no, we've just really enjoyed it, and it's weird people that don't know us listen to us. But one thing I'm proud of is we say what we think and we own it.
That's why I like you boys, man. That's why I like you boys.
And we hope, and we're going to continue. I love it. For me, mentally as well, that little switch off. I don't look at my phone when I'm doing it. And for that hour, a half a week, it's a lot of hard work editing, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
It's brilliant. It's good, and it is good to have some people alongside me now, because there's a couple of years at the start there where it was kind of just us. Like there was other ones, their view from the bridge, banners on the wall, but there was nothing new coming on the scene. There was markets that have not really been covered, and then I remember reading a thing. I think when we first got involved, there was 600,000 podcasts in the world, yeah. And now it's something like fucking 9.6 million on podcasts. Didn't even know what, like I said, jumped on banners on the wall to do my thing when I got the drug ban. Didn't even know what fucking podcast was. I was like, yeah, I'll come on your podcast. What's podcast? I was just like, I'm in for anything. I'm in for anything.
It sounds important, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm in for anything once, and evidently 4 years later. But I like it because now I'm getting to go into Europe and do some of the European stuff, and next year we're going to do two charity games, and then instead of the money going to charity, all the money is going to go to hosting 4,000 counting junior tournaments up and down the country in every other rink other than a single Planet Ice rink. Right.
I heard about that when you talked about it a while ago. That's class, to be fair.
What do you know that I'm not going to use any Planet Ice rinks? The rates I have received for ice time up and down the country from rinks, I can't, mate. Everyone's bought in. Brilliant.
Yeah.
The rinks have bought in. The managers have bought in. The Scottish Association have bought in. We got a potential for a third game because the Scottish Association have bought in that much to the situation, and it's great raising money for charity. I love it. We've done it a lot from the podcast, whether it be cancer, whether it be men's health, whether it be mind, whether it be whatever. But
you got big reach, haven't you? At the end of the day, you've played a lot of guys. You've played obviously all the different age groups. You've coached a lot of kids who've now gone on to be professional and stuff as well. You know a lot of people, and
exactly.
If you do that, you can get goodwill off a lot of people, and you can make those kind of things work.
And what I can do next year is put on hopefully 16 one-day tournaments for age groups from 10s to 18s across the entirety of the UK. Now that's my way of giving back.
Yeah.
And if that's 4,000 Accountants legacy, I'll be very, very happy that that's what it is. What would you boys want a legacy for 3-on-3 to be?
Wow, that's deep.
Sorry to fuck you boys over for the last question of the night. My bad.
Owning our shit and doing what we can, because we started doing some charity stuff as well. We've donated to All Stars. So we will continue to do that. Owning our shit and enjoying it.
I just think it's just one to give people a bit of light and a bit of fun in the week. I know we can get deep sometimes. We had a few emotive things we talked about when one of my mates passed a year or so ago with mental health and stuff, and sometimes it does get a bit deep. But I'd like to think the main thing that we bring is honesty. We do bring honesty. We don't try and say things just to try and antagonize. If we sort of call things out, and I'm probably the worst of the three of us for doing it.
I mean, you're definitely the worst out of the three of you.
Yeah.
you're definitely the worst out of the three of you.
I'll own that. I'll own my shit there. But it's coming from a good place. At the end of the day, it's about trying to see things improve. I want to see the Brits, push on in this, and I want to see all clubs doing well. I love the game, and I did question that after the sad passing of Johnson, obviously, and I did think, what's the point of hockey? You know, no one needs to lose a life over a game. But you think of the things it's given me over the years. You know, without hockey, I wouldn't have the friendships I have, and I just want people just to sort of, you know, to have something to listen to where they know we're not going to just try and be controversial for the sake of being controversial. If we say things, you know, we're passionate about it, but we try and have a bit of fun with it as well. We try and keep it lighthearted where we can. And if I slag a player off, or if I slag a team off particularly, it's come from a good place. I often criticize Glasgow, but I equally counterbalance myself by saying they could be huge. You know, I know that's like the in joke, you know. Glasgow could be the best place to play in the country. Legit could, you know, really could. And I'd like to see them push on. But when like you got people who are running the club who have done for many years, not pushing them on, it's right to question and challenge us sometimes, I think. And we do that. We challenge things, we question things, but we try to have fun. And you know, we've got a lot of good mates that come on as well. And hockey's a good game. It's a game that we all love as well, and it should be fun. And sometimes it's not, and we just try and make it a bit fun at the weekends. And we get a lot from ourselves personally. We come away and we have a good chat, and we chat after like you probably do with the boys as well when you finish.
Yeah. And
it just gives you a bit of a boost, you know, before Monday morning, all the shit back to work starts again, you know.
Boys, this has been fucking awesome. I loved it. Loved every minute. We'll definitely do it again before the season's out.
Yeah, amazing.
We didn't even really get into it. The only reason I'm going to cut it now is because otherwise YouTube doesn't let me post any videos that longer than 2 hours. And, otherwise I'm going to have to start like try to chop bits out. And like Scott said, editing fucking sucks.
It does suck.
And I am not good at it.
It's best to be a technophobe like me and just play like ignorance. Oh, how would I? Like, even the day I didn't even
Johnny wants to wrap up, mate. This is what you do on our podcast.
I
Shut
ramble,
up, mate.
man.
Shush,
Scott
rambling.
gets it. Right, boys.